That's how I ended up being called the most vindictive maid of honor in our entire city. This was supposed to be a luxury wedding, a $120,000 weekend at the Grand Marcellus Resort, complete with swan centerpieces, imported orchids, and a bridal conduct manual that was 47 pages long. It all started when my best friend, let's call her Madison, turned into a full-on Bridezilla. By the end of it, I'd followed her insane rules to the letter and watched her entire $28,000 ceremony implode in real time. This is a story about friendship, control, and the sweetest malicious compliance I've ever pulled. But here's where it gets interesting.
I, 29F, had been best friends with Madison, 30F, since college. We used to joke about planning each other's weddings back when we were broke students eating instant noodles and daydreaming about someday. Fast forward 10 years, Madison lands a wealthy fiancé, Eric, whose family owns a chain of dental clinics worth $47 million. Suddenly, she's dripping in Dior, calling everyone darling, and planning a luxury weekend experience instead of a wedding. At first, I was thrilled when she asked me to be maid of honor. But then came the binder. A 47-page maid of honor conduct manual. Rules included: no flat shoes at any time. Spray tan must match bride's tone by at least 85%. Maid of honor responsible for collecting all RSVP cards and paying for shipping. And my personal favorite, no emotional reactions that distract from the bride. That's when I started to realize something was off. Then she dropped the bomb. I was expected to pay $2,800 for a custom blush silk gown and an additional $600 bridal glow package at her preferred salon. I hesitated, but Madison guilt-tripped me. "Come on, Lily," she said. "You make good money. Don't embarrass me in front of Eric's family." So I agreed. But little did I know, this was just the beginning. Little did I know, this was just the beginning. A few weeks later, the first red flag appeared. At the dress fitting, Madison told the tailor, "Please make sure Lily's neckline is 1 inch higher. I don't want her pulling focus." That's when I noticed something that made my blood run cold. She didn't see me as her friend anymore. I was a prop. And soon, she'd cross a line I couldn't ignore. The weeks leading up to the wedding were pure chaos. Madison micromanaged everything. She demanded I send daily wedding readiness selfies to prove I was keeping up with her aesthetic plan. She even created a shared Google sheet called Lily Compliance Tracker. But what happened next made everything worse. 2 weeks before the wedding, she called me at midnight. "Lily, crisis. My hairstylist says your hair texture won't match the bridesmaid's aesthetic. You need a keratin treatment. It's only $480. When I told her I couldn't afford it, she sighed and said, "Don't be selfish on my day." Then came the bachelorette party fiasco. I organized a beautiful weekend in Napa, spent nearly $1,200, and Madison barely said thank you. Instead, she posted on Instagram. "Couldn't have done it without my girls, especially the planner I hired. No credit. No gratitude." That's when I started screenshotting everything, her texts, the receipts, the binder instructions. Something inside me said, "You might need these later." I knew I had to do something, but I had no idea how bad it would get. Then, 1 week before the wedding, Madison sent me a message that changed everything. "Lily, we're adjusting the seating plan. You'll be at table 14 near the vendors. Eric thinks it's better optics if family sits closer to us. Table 14. Next to the photographers and caterers." I asked, "I'm the maid of honor, shouldn't I be near you?" She replied, "Well, you were the maid of honor. But since you've been difficult lately, I've reassigned that role to my cousin Tessa. You'll still wear the same dress, though. Don't make it awkward." That's when something inside me snapped. That's when I made a choice that would change everything. I decided, if she wanted her rules followed to the letter, she was going to get them word for word. I went through the binder, highlighting every ridiculous line. And I planned my revenge. I didn't expect what happened next. Wedding weekend arrived. I showed up precisely at 6 a.m. as required. I wore the exact shade of blush listed, the 1 inch higher neckline, and $480 hair that matched the group. But I also brought something else, a printed copy of her binder, annotated with every expense, contradiction, and demand. When she asked me to check on the vendors, I did, but I also reminded the florist she was still owed $2,300. When she asked if I'd bring the emergency cash tips, I did, using the exact amount she listed, $75 total, which left the makeup artist furious. And when she demanded everyone arrive at the ballroom by 3:15 sharp, I locked the doors at exactly 3:15. Half the bridal party, including her new maid of honor cousin, got stuck outside. Within 24 hours, karma came knocking. And the real chaos was about to begin. Madison stormed up to me, screaming, "Why are the doors locked?" I showed her the rulebook. Page 16. Quote, "Doors close promptly at 3:15 p.m. No late entries for aesthetic consistency." Her face turned a shade redder than her lipstick. She screamed at the venue coordinator, who calmly replied, "We just followed the schedule your maid of honor provided." But it gets even better. During the ceremony, her veil snagged on one of the imported floral arches, the one she insisted be installed exactly as shown on Pinterest. The arch collapsed, taking $7,000 worth of orchids down with it. Meanwhile, the DJ, who had been given a strict no ad-libbing rule, stopped mid-track when Madison's cousin tripped over a chord. Silence. I didn't move a muscle. Rule 28. Maid of honor must not interfere or attract attention. She glared at me, mouthing, "Fix it." I smiled sweetly and whispered, "Can't. Against the rules." And that's not all. Then came the dinner service. Her catering list required a 5-course service with synchronized plate drops. But since she'd changed the seating plan last minute, the servers mixed up tables. Her father's $350 bottle of wine ended up at the vendor table, mine. Half the guests didn't get served until 9 p.m. The other half started leaving. By dessert, the hotel manager approached her privately, but everyone nearby heard. Your credit card was declined. The outstanding balance is $28,047. Turns out, her fiancé's family refused to pay 4 extras she'd added last minute. The final nail in the coffin came when the wedding photographer, furious about his unpaid deposit, refused to release the photos. The only images that surfaced were the chaotic iPhone clips of Madison screaming, mascara running, yelling that I had sabotaged her big day. But karma wasn't done yet. 2 days later, I received a text from the venue manager. "Thank you for your detailed notes in the manual. We used them to prove the bride violated her own contract. She's now liable for all damages. $28,000. You'd think it would end there, but when Madison tried to blame me online, I posted screenshots, her rules, her messages, her compliance tracker. Within hours, people flooded her comments calling her the binder bride. She lost her influencer partnership with a bridal boutique worth $15,000, and her own family sided with me. Now, she's ghosted most of our old friends. I've kept every receipt. And honestly, I don't regret a thing."
So, was she the a-hole here? Madison would certainly say yes. In her eyes, the maid of honor was vindictive, ungrateful, even jealous. But when you look closer, the truth feels more complicated. Madison built a $28,000 dream wedding on control, vanity, and a 47-page rulebook that treated her friends like staff. The maid of honor didn't break the rules, she followed them. Every unreasonable demand, every obsessive instruction, all executed with precision. And when those same rules caused the ceremony to implode, Madison called it betrayal. But maybe this wasn't revenge. Maybe it was just the universe showing Madison what perfection really costs. Could the maid of honor have walked away? Sure. But would Madison have learned anything if she had? Probably not. In the end, this wasn't sabotage, it was symmetry. The bride demanded blind obedience, and she got it. Every glittering petal, every ruined dollar of that $28,000 day was exactly as she designed. So, was the maid of honor the a-hole? Maybe to Madison. But to everyone watching? She was karma in a silk dress. What do you think? Was this justifiable compliance or cold-blooded revenge? Drop your verdict in the comments below. And if you thought this story was wild, wait until you hear about the bridesmaid who exposed a cheating groom mid-ceremony. Thanks for watching Drama Narrative, where karma always gets the last word.